Hello, so welcome back to our next lesson, which we'll be looking how to prototype a sample landing landing screen or the sign up screen. So last time we did the screen, the onboarding screen. So we implemented things like the sliders and everything. So it was fine. If we preview this page now, or the screen, I'll just close this. We can see once we slide left, right, we see this happen. Once we slide, then we see this button at the last stage, and once we are in the second screen, then it doesn't show anymore. So we're just going to continue with that, and we're going to apply. Once we click on this page, then it will take us to the landing screen, which if we see here, we've already implemented that. So I'm just going to maybe increase this a little bit so that you can see, and let's go back to our onboarding screen, and we can click get started, and we land on this screen. So what we're going to do next is to now prototype the screen, and I have this page already, so I'm just gonna give this I'll give it so that we can see the screen properly. So now in a typical landing page, you're gonna want to show your app name or your brand name or the logo and things like that. So for the purpose of this lesson, we're just going to use a sample placeholder. Like I said, we're not focusing on doing things in terms of the color, in terms of the visual appeal of the app. So we're just focusing on mainly how we can prototype this simple mobile app sort of template. So we have the image, or here we can put something like this, and we can have different buttons. So we can have this button, we can say login, we can say login using email, no, let me write this using capital, login using email, address and password, and we can say here login with we can say login with Facebook, although this color is not really the main color of Facebook, but this is just for prototyping testing purposes. And once we have that, we can probably have here, which is, we can move this down and have our text box. So we can have text box here. We can increase this text box to, let's say, 40, and we want to make sure that we have the app it's looking like a material design. So we're going to add our horizontal line here, and I'm just going to group these two together and then duplicate it. Then I will select just the text box and remove the and hide the border. So I'll hide the border here so we don't have the border, and I can go to the first one and say enter the int. I say enter email address, and here we can say enter password. You can say enter password. So we have this email address and password. Then I can just group this together, or probably just make this a little bit lighter so that, you know, we can have it looking a bit more professional. So we have that, we group this together, and practically this is what we have here, and we can just make this button. Actually, let me make this come here, and we can have this like this, and we can and group this together. And what we could do again is to make sure that we differentiate it really, so that the user actually know what is going on, and we can then say something like this. So I can get actually I can get an eclipse, and I can just put the letter O in the eclipse, and we can just make it look. We can change the font to Roboto. Actually, I highlight everything and change the font to Roboto. So we have all, which is this, and we can put this here. So essentially what we are trying to do is to let the user know, okay, this is, they can either sign in with their email address, or they can log in with Facebook. If there's any button again, which is maybe login with Google, we can have login with Google, and we could just change the color to maybe red, kind of, yeah, we can just change it to color like this. So we know that we have this is here, we have this, and we have this as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to group these two together, and we're going to distribute this vertically, align center, group them, and we can align each to the page. So we have this done. Now if we preview the page again and we refresh this page, we will see that we have here. So what we've done here, basically we've entered our username and password, and we can do a whole lot of things there. The next thing we might want to do is to just change here for a password int, so that we know that this is password field. So we change this password type from text to password, so that when the user type in something inside the password field, we can't really see what the user is typing, and we can enter the email address as well, which is just normal text, which is fine. So we have this, and we'll be able to go into the main page and log in. So what we're going to create next is to create our next page, and I'll just duplicate this page so that we retain everything that we've done, and I'll just make it same thing, and I'll just remove everything we have here. So what I need to do is just to come here and put a text here and say this is home screen. So we have here, this is home screen, and we can save. So if we refresh our page back, we can always go back to the splash screen where we first started. We see the onboarding, which we see the 3 screen, and we see the get started button, and we click it, and we can now go on this page. So once we say login with username and password, we can actually what we want to do is not login. Actually we are doing sign up first. So we're going to say sign up with email address and password, and I think we need to make another password field here. So I'll just duplicate this, and I'll make this, and I'll call this repeat password. So we have this repeat password, and we are able to make sure we align it properly. So here we have our email address, we have this, and we can make sure everything is done well. So the next thing we want to do now is that instead of saying login, we just need to remove sign up using email address and password. So we have this. So once we click this button, we're going to move to the home screen. So I'm going to change this home screen here. This name, I will name it home screen. And we will put an interaction here using the onClick event and say open home screen and OK. Then we are good to go. So let us refresh our page, and let's see from our onboarding or from our splash screen. Onboarding, get started, landing, we enter our email address and password, and we can click use email address and password. We can sign up with it, and then it will just tell us okay, we are on the home screen. That is fine. So the next thing we want to do now is to work on the home screen. So I'll see you in the next lesson, and any question you have, you can have it ready. Thank you very much.